Dunbar High School in Dayton, Ohio, placed their phones into these envelopes labeled with their names and grades.
The mornings are just like TSA. Bags, purses, tools.
Most Dunbar students have gotten used to the new norm, but some still try to sneak in their cell in a hidden pocket, a bag of chips, a book with a phone-shaped cutout, but this one takes the takeout container. Yep, that's a phone under the chicken. Language arts teacher and football coach James Lacking is part of the morning check-in crew. Do you have to laugh to yourself sometimes?
Oh, we have a good time. It's fun to me now.
The district leading the charge in a national battle in education to keep phones out of schools, and their mission is spreading like wildfire. Lawmakers in at least 10 states are already introducing or passing bills to ban.
Yes, it shouldn't
A
be.
number of Ohio schools have made the decision to eliminate smartphone use during the school day. And I believe clearly that is the right decision.
Spanish teacher Essence
Yes,
Wright
the
says
right
it wasn't
decision.
enough to ask students to keep their phones off or in their backpacks. What is going on with the phones in the classroom before this ban went into effect?
Constant notifications.
What does that do to learning?
It interrupts the whole process.
It distracts many
Now you have
people.
to address it, or you need to have an administrative moment in your classroom that could have all been avoided if it didn't even exist.
And now it doesn't. Students don't have their phones from 8 a.m. until 3 p.m. when school is dismissed. Hear that? It's the sound of students at lunch talking to each other and playing games.
When we were allowed to have our phones, like at lunch, it used to be like really silent and like nobody would talk.
Seniors Jayla, DeAndre, and Rayvon, along with freshman Moses, say they understand the reasons for the cell phone ban. Raise your hand if your parents would say you are addicted to your phones.
That's all she say.
Yeah.
Do you think your mental health is stronger because of this cell phone ban?
Definitely.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean they always liked it.
Like I'm always used to it, having it in my pocket, so for it to be taken away, it's like losing a limb.
You were required to lock up their cell phone that will start enforcing a cell phone free environment.
A recent survey of 1,300 kids found in 2021, 37% of 11-year-olds had a smartphone. By age 14,
Dang,
91%
wow.
have a smartphone. But at the Richardson Independent School District just outside Dallas, school leaders say they're seeing a problem with so many phones on campus. Distracted students. So at
Yes.
Forest Meadow Junior High, they're trying something new. It's called the Yonder Pouch. So here's how it works. Each student gets one of these pouches. At the beginning of the school day, they have to put their phone inside and lock the pouch. No access at all until lunchtime or dismissal when a teacher uses one of these to unlock the phone. Voila! Student gets their phone back.
Let's focus on learning.
Superintendent Tabitha Branham says research shows adults and teens feel the urge to check their cell phones every 4 minutes. Why can't we just trust kids to
Crazy.
keep their phones off or in their backpacks and not be distracted by them during class time?
I do believe that our kids can be trusted, and our kids are amazing humans. However, we know even as adults the temptation that the cell phone can have. We're trying to develop those lifelong habits.
Dallas isn't alone. To keep students focused on learning, some schools require them to put their phones in a cubby or special area when they enter the classroom. In New York City, the largest school district in the country, each school sets its own policy. In Los Angeles, students are required to turn their phones off and put them in a backpack or locker during the school day. And it may help with student learning. In a poll of 900 schools, Yonder found that when students don't have access to their phones, 65% of schools saw an improvement in academic performance. 74% showed better student behavior, and 83% saw an uptick in student engagement. Superintendent Branham says it's early, but she's already seeing some positive changes.
I'm hearing stories from students where even at lunch where they could use their cell phones, that they're still keeping them put away and that they're just having conversations, that they are listening to one another.
But some parents are unhappy with the program, citing safety as their biggest concern.
It's beneficial in making the kids, I guess, pay attention more in class. But the thing I don't like about it, like if something horrible happens in school, they won't be able to get to the phone quickly or call us.
I would prefer them to have some access to some type of phone immediately if they needed to in their possession.
While phones can help emergency responders, some experts say phones in class can also alert an intruder to the location of a student or potentially jam up cell phone towers or broadcast sensitive information on social media.
Are you concerned at all that teachers might not be able to get to the students in case of an emergency to allow them to use their phones?
We are not concerned. The first and foremost thing we would want a teacher to do in the time of the crisis is execute our safety plan.
Well, Yonder tells NBC News that these pouches, they can actually be found in more than 1,000 schools right now in cities like San Francisco, Milwaukee, Nashville, and Boston. They're not cheap. The cost is
Why don't they
$20
do
per
that in
student. For
Michigan?
Superintendent Branham for district is
Need to
$20,000.
do in
That's
Michigan.
$400,000. We do want to thank our NBC Dallas station,
USA,
NBC5 for their help with this
Michigan.
story, but there's a lot of layers to it,
Schools.
right? Because there's the safety aspect, there's the convenience of being able to reach your kids, but then there's also the distraction, which, as we saw, as soon as they started taking the phones away, kids' behavior changed.
That's something.
Yeah, it retrains the brain.
palpable. And however you store it, whether you
Right.
store it in a pouch like that for $20 or just lock it away somehow.
Right.
Yeah.
The concept is the same. Keep it out of the kids' hands. So, Craig, I have your phone.
Sure.
I'll show you how easy it is.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: like, your phones change size, you got to change the size of the pouch. But you just lock it up, and then here, you try to be the teacher. That's the base. You just slam it down. It's kind of like when you go shopping, and they've got to do the magnetic tag. Yeah, I think so.
There we go.
Is it coming out? No, the other side. The other side. There you go. This pops out.
Yeah.
It's Craig Blue.
Craig Blue,
Okay.
that's for sure.
And that's it.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
You do that, and then boom.
That's
unlock it.
expensive though when school district budgets are tight and you're talking $400,000.
$400,000.
That's
But that's how big of
To
a
pay
problem it
teachers
is.
for never, by the way, Craig, you're never
I
doing
know.
it.
I know.
I'm
I know.
okay with that.
And
There
there we
you
go.
go.
Some houses could use that, by the way.
It's true. It's not a bad
Yes.
concept to take this away, retrain your brain, and change the habits that people have about reaching for their phone every
Yes.
day.
No question, we're all distracted when
Yes.
our phones are around. Even if you're not looking at it, like you know it's there,
Yeah, or
a buzz. I know.
Broker, you were way ahead of this.
That's
You
right.
were. You were so
Rush to scroll.
How are your phones off?
New this year, middle and high school students now forced to lock away their phones before the bell rings.
When did they get it back?
245.
2:45.
Right.
Principal Gary Hall pushed for the policy and the pouch to enforce it.
They were
Mhm.
texting, tweeting, you name it, while classes were going on.
Put it in the pouch.
Here's how it works. At the beginning of the day, students put their cell phones in these pouches.
Once it's locked, it is really hard to get back open.
They can keep it with them, they just can't open them. They're sealed.
There you go. Have a good day.
This unlocking magnet, the only thing designed to free them. It's not completely foolproof.
We found a lot of cell phone cases with no phone.
For students,
Show of hands, who doesn't like the pouch?
it's a painful adjustment.
I just love watching TikTok, so I gotta have my phone.
Why don't you like the pouch?
I don't like the pouches like when I'm in math class, I like to take pictures of the notes and stuff.
What's your favorite part?
We communicate more with each other now that our phone is locked up.
It make me pay attention when I don't got my phone.
Who would be using their cell phone if it weren't for the pouch? That's a lot of hands. What would you be doing? Cheating.
Montgomery Public Schools isn't alone. The maker of the pouch, Yonder, says they're seeing an estimated 150% increase in schools using them in 2023, now working with over 2,000 schools across the country. While most parents are for the pouch, others fear their children will not have their phone when they need it most.
If there's an emergency, how can I contact my
Yes,
child?
if there's an emergency, I understand, but to make it
It's been 1 week. Has it gone the way you thought it would?
It's doing really well.
District Superintendent Dr. Melvin Brown tells us the benefits are worth the risk.
We have to find a happy medium, while at the same time, our ultimate goal is to make sure everybody's 100% as safe as possible.
All right, so moving on.
Just 1 week in, this school is already seeing a difference.
I just see engagement, honestly. I see talking. They're using their words.
It's revolutionized teaching for me this year.
Work gets done faster. We move along faster.
A new routine,
Keep moving.
educators hope will unlock their full potential.
New restrictions work out in New York City schools tomorrow. Today was the first day of class in Yonkers, and our first chance to see the phone ban in action in that district.
Eyewitness News reporter Marcus Solis is in Yonkers. And Marcus, how was the district collecting phones, and what was the initial reaction from the kids? What did they have to say?
Well, we'll get to the reaction first, and it depends who you ask, right? This is a day that many students have been dreading, but also a day that some, and certainly parents and many administrators, say is long overdue. Packs on their backs, a cell phone in one hand, in the other the device that kept them locked up during class. This is what the end of a school day now looks like in 2025. Reaction, of course, is mixed.
You can't text no one in your lunch. You're like bored all the time, or when it's like just free time in general.
I will admit that it is distracting in class. Cell phone notifications, calling my friend, hey, can you come to the bathroom?
Taking the phones away keeps them focused in academics, keep them focused on what they need to focus on during the school year.
You are not allowed to unlock until the end of the day. This morning, thousands of Yonder pouches were distributed to students in Yonkers. As part of the new statewide bell-to-bell cell phone ban in schools, students will have to place their phones, watches, earbuds, anything that connects to the internet into the pouch that locks with the press of a button.
The hope is that we can preserve teaching and learning and get back to what we want. We want kids interacting with each other. We want kids interacting with their teachers in class. We want less disruptions. That's the goal.
Parents and students were notified months in advance, in part to address what's easily the number one concern that's been raised.
I do worry about if there's an emergency, how I'm going to get in contact with them.
If there's an emergency, it's going to take longer to get to the office, like for the parents to call the office.
Administrators disagree.
Having immediate access to your child is calling the main office, reaching out to a counselor, reaching out to through email. They will have access to their child. When we were growing up, we didn't have cell phones, and I think we turned out pretty okay.
At the end of the day, students can unlock their pouch with special magnetic devices placed in various locations. The school superintendent says limiting distraction is just one goal. Changing behavior is another.
Addictiveness as a country and a society on checking social media, and there's all this research around dopamine levels, and so brave new world. But I think it's something that at some point was going to have to be addressed.
Yes.
And the superintendent says Yonkers chose to go with the Yonder pouch solution because it addressed one of the big key concerns was that phones were being taken away.
Getting used to. Carolyn Gussoff visited a high school in South Huntington to find out how
Sure,
distraction-free learning is going so far. A special bell's been
Take
added
some
to the
time
school
to
day
get
of
used
Walt
to,
Whitman
but-
High School. It's the daily deadline for ditching devices. And suddenly, digital natives no longer have heads down and ears plugged. Instead of talking to text, they're talking to each other.
At first, I was really torn up about it, and then now I kind of like in lunch we'll all talk the whole period.
But they admit it's a hard addiction to break.
You're used to playing music in the hallways or, listening to music during class or something like that, so it's really hard.
It's such a habit that I always had it. That's why I feel like it's weird, but I feel like it's good though because I'm more focused in class.
I was apprehensive. Now I see the positives of it.
Principal John Murphy favored their previous policy of no phones during just academic periods, but so far gives the bell-to-bell ban high marks.
Uptick in positive energy. We've been able to see students really actively engage.
Board games are suddenly a hit in the lunchroom.
The kids are actually being kids and interacting with their peers, and I think that was what the heart of this initiative was.
The last few years with the phones, it's really like an epidemic. And I couldn't get through a lesson without the notifications going off. And I feel like learning suffered.
Now, electronics are only allowed for lessons and internal school email. And there are new lessons.
We're actually having mock conversations with students because they're not used to having a conversation. They're used to this.
So far, only 3 smuggling violations. Phones can be confiscated and repeat offenders could face suspension. But some have discovered a legal workaround.
Emailing throughout the day, so we all figured that out, sort of. So we can still talk, but still be respectful to the ban.
And if a student needs to phone home during the day, there's always old school. More landlines are now throughout the building. But in many cases, students will have to learn their parents' phone numbers. In South Huntington, Long Island, Carolyn Gussoff, CBS News, New York.
It was a short first week of school for many students in our area, but 2 days was actually more than enough time for opinions to roll in on New York's bell-to-bell cell phone ban. And those opinions, well, they're all over the map. Education reporter Doug Williams has this story.
City Schools Chancellor Melissa Aviles Ramos spent an hour at New Pathways Academy in the Bronx on Friday on day 2 of the bell-to-bell cell phone ban.
What has it been like? It's easier to interact with people because sometimes when you're with your friends talking to them, telling them stuff, sometimes they're just scrolling on the phone, just listening and not listening to anything you're saying. Having a release from the phone to give them a time to break, focus, help them improve their skills, gives us like more time to like focus.
Yes, you heard them correctly. These are kids, some of them teenagers, saying they'd rather focus on each other and their schoolwork than social media.
Me, I'm a very extroverted person. I like to be around people. Being on the phone, I feel like it really just takes you away.
They haven't all been glowing reviews. We spoke to students on Thursday on the Upper West Side who didn't like how their phones were stored, and a concerned mom whose daughter's phone was still off at pickup. A student in Queens described her fears of not being able to contact her parents in an emergency. But when a hazmat situation developed at a school in Westchester County on Thursday, one mom told us the ban was helpful.
I was actually pleased that they didn't have phones, because I think there would have probably been more confusion. Getting just one message from the school is probably better than a million different rumors.
The city schools chancellor says she does plan to have conversations with students at schools that are still figuring out the process. Like that you have to silence your phone before you lock it in a pouch.
The school should text parents
In the
to
Bronx,
know
Doug Williams, CBS News, New
what's
York.
going on at school. So there's
On education because there will be no phones in the classrooms to distract them. New York City cell phone ban in
that's
school
great.
now in effect.
And some mixed reaction with it from parents and students. Eyewitness News reporter Anthony Carlo live in Williamsburg with some of that reaction. Anthony.
Well, Laura and David, there's no doubt about this. This is a big change heading into this school year. There's going to be anxiety. There's going to be discomfort on the part of both students and their parents. But the governor was here this morning, and her message continues to be strong. This new cell phone ban is going to be a game changer.
Let's give a round of applause to our friend Frankie Focus.
Governor Hochul brought Frankie Focus to MS 582 in Williamsburg.
I'm glad that the governor is
a
doing
difficult
something.
assignment, getting students excited about not having their cell phones in school.
You're going to be smarter because you'll be paying attention more in school. Your teachers will have a better experience teaching you and making connections with you.
This new law presents a big first for many New York City students and parents. Each school was required to come up with a plan not only to store phones, which some are doing via special pouch, but also provide a way for families to reach students in case of an emergency.
There were some concerns because, like I said, I like to communicate with my mother and my father sometimes, like when things happen, and if anything happens, I would like to contact them.
I support it completely. I think the kids need to focus and do what they need to do in school, so taking that away is a good thing.
Speaking of good things, officials cut the ribbon to the city's first HBCU early college prep high school in Jamaica, Queens this morning.
That represents years of hard work and transformation of your ancestors who made sure the paved way was available and accessible to you.
7 new public schools are opening doors for the first time today across the 5 boroughs as the DOE continues its work on reducing class sizes to meet a state mandate. The UFT says this year 60% of classes will meet the requirement, with the deadline looming in 2028.
This school, ISI, is going to be 100% compliant with the class size law.
The common goal in 2025, better learning, with smaller class sizes and a no cell phone policy being put to the test.
For too long, students have sat in schools with their cell phone in their hand, distracted.
Yes.
And aside from learning, there's a social aspect.
Well, now to those big changes in the classroom for students across New York. On Long Island today, teachers welcome back students for the new school year.
Well, phones shouldn't be banned
Challenges and experiences, but
in
arguably the biggest one this year, the new statewide
all
ban on
schools.
cell phones.
Eyewitness News reporter Stacey Saver is live in Roosevelt, where students are
USA.
I would say, slowly adjusting to this new policy, Stacey. Oh, well, Liz, it is a
Yes,
big
it's a
adjustment.
hard
You know, for many high
thing
school
to
students,
adjust,
giving up a
but
cell phone is really like losing an appendage. And so, yeah,
A lot of them say they feel less safe because of this cell phone ban, but also they say they feel less distracted at school. And so we heard the good with the bad. School's out here at Roosevelt this first day, and so are the reviews on the new cell phone ban.
I don't really like it.
How come?
I feel like it's boring.
Today, I felt like I paid attention. Yeah, productive.
Is that a good thing?
Yeah, it's a good thing.
We did spend the morning inside Roosevelt High School as the students acclimated to their new Yonder pouch system, where phones and all their accessories go yonder, inside, locked up, only releasable with this mechanism.
I think they're kind of like a safety hazard in a sort of way.
You have to smack it so hard. So
Yeah.
But they are a welcome change for all educators who've been battling content on social media and streaming channels as they try to just teach basic science and math.
But it can't compete with TikTok Reels and FIFA on their phone or those types of things. So I'm happy that now I could be the entertainment.
In terms of enforcement, a lot remains to be seen. For one thing, the district says they did not realize these release systems can actually be purchased on the internet.
We're all looking to see if whether or not that might be something that could potentially happen here, but we're hopeful that it won't.
And there's also no plan for a backup when school technology fails.
Honestly, if something's wrong with your Chromebook, the teacher's first thing they're going to say, use your phone. I don't have my phone. Now what do I do?
But just look in the lunchroom. Teenagers actually sitting around tables, talking face to face, instead of just staring at their phones.
That's what all schools need to do,
Engaging,
regardless of
They're going to have to. They're
what it
actually really
is.
being forced to do that now. And again, we're all very
Because
excited about this.
phone devices are bad
Now,
in
once again,
general.
there's still a lot to be
It's a
ironed out with all of this.
distraction in
Punishment is
schools.
not really a part of this
It's a
new law. In
distraction.
this district, at least, if students break the law, they will get a talking to. Their parents will get a talking to, but there will be no suspensions or harsh punishments or anything like that. On the flip side, administrators say it is going to be pretty easy to enforce because it's the law. It's not just a random rule in one school. And for that reason, they
It's a
feel it
law.
will be easier